For over 2,000 years, billions have worshipped his name. They have built grand cathedrals, fought wars, and shaped entire civilizations around his story. But what if I told you that Jesus Christ, as we know him, may never have existed? What if history has been altered, manipulated, or even fabricated? Let's start with a simple question: where is the proof? If Jesus Christ was truly the most influential figure in history, wouldn't his existence be thoroughly documented? We have countless records of Roman emperors, philosophers, and kings. But for a man who supposedly performed miracles, healed the sick, and gathered massive crowds, there is surprisingly little historical evidence outside the Bible. Historians like Tacitus and Josephus, often cited as proof of Jesus' existence, wrote decades after his supposed death. And even then, their mentions of Jesus are brief, vague, and highly disputed as later Christian forgeries. Meanwhile, famous contemporary historians who should have mentioned Jesus, such as Pliny the Elder, Seneca, and Philo of Alexandria, make no reference to him at all. A man who healed the blind, walked on water, and rose from the dead, and yet the very people who recorded history never saw fit to mention him. Now, here's where things get even stranger. What if Jesus wasn't just overlooked, but invented? One controversial theory suggests that the entire story of Jesus Christ was a creation of the Roman Empire. The reason? Control. During the 1st century, Judea was a hotbed of rebellion. Jewish groups like the Zealots were violently resisting Roman rule, causing endless chaos for the empire. The Romans needed a way to pacify the masses, and what better way than to introduce a peaceful, submissive, obedient Messiah? A Messiah who told people to turn the other cheek, to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and to love their enemies. Sounds a little too convenient, doesn't it? Some researchers claim that the Roman elite, perhaps under the guidance of the Flavian dynasty, created Christianity as psychological warfare. By replacing the militant Jewish Messiah with a peaceful, non-threatening one, they ensured that rebellious Jews would follow a doctrine of submission instead of resistance. And who benefited most from this pacification? The Roman rulers. Christianity spread rapidly across the empire, converting once defiant Jews into loyal, law-abiding subjects. But if the Romans did invent Jesus, where did they get the story? The answer may lie in much older religions. Because when you start comparing Jesus' story to ancient myths, a pattern emerges. The Egyptian god Horus was born of a virgin, baptized in a river, had 12 disciples, performed miracles, and rose from the dead. The Persian deity Mithras was also born of a virgin on December 25th, had a Last Supper, died, and resurrected. The Greek god Dionysus turned water into wine and was called the Son of God. It appears that Jesus wasn't a unique figure, but rather a Frankenstein creation pieced together from multiple ancient religions. The Romans didn't create a new faith from scratch. They simply repackaged existing myths into a new, more controlled version. If this theory is true, why don't we hear about it? Well, the answer is simple: power. For centuries, the Catholic Church and religious institutions have controlled history. They've burned books, executed heretics, and silenced anyone who dared question the origins of their faith. Even today, questioning Jesus' historical existence can get you censored, shunned, or worse. Billions of people's faith depends on this story being true. The collapse of this belief would shake the very foundation of modern civilization. But despite the suppression, cracks in the narrative continue to emerge. More scholars, researchers, and historians are beginning to ask dangerous questions. What if everything we were taught was a lie? Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Whether Jesus was real or not, his story has undeniably shaped history. But if his existence was fabricated, it forces us to question everything. How many other historical figures have been invented or altered to serve a political agenda? If religion was designed to control people, how much of what we believe today is actually true? And most importantly, what else are they hiding from us? Jesus Christ remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Was he a real man whose life was exaggerated, a composite of multiple myths, or a total invention by those in power? The answer may never be fully known, but one thing is certain: history is written by the victors, and sometimes the biggest lies are the ones we never think to question.